Welcome everyone, this is the Indian Express of 29th August 2022 and I will explain this newspaper in 3 steps. First, why the news, second, what is the news, and third one is what can be the future prospects of the news. So starting with the first news, this is the demolition of Noida Twin Towers. So not that important, but you must know that it was led to fall down in a matter of seconds. Okay, so coming to our next news is conspiracies hatched to hold Gujarat back. So this is also a political news. So now first page do not have much important news. Coming forward to this Express Network, new virus behind mystery dwarfing of rice, says IARI report. So why is the news? Because a few days back there was a news that rice plants are not growing into much level that they must grow. So it was found that there was a mystery disease behind this dwarfing. Now IARI, which is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, it has confirmed that the mysterious disease resulting in dwarfing of rice plants, which was reported mainly from Punjab and Haryana, has been caused because of this virus. And the name of the virus is Southern Rice Black Streaked Dwarf Virus, which is SRBSDV. Now, how this virus spreads? The virus is spread by the white bagged plant hopper, which is an insect pest, and this injects it while sucking the sap from mostly young plants. So how this occurs? This virus is spread by an insect, which is white backed plant hopper, and during this it contaminates the plant while sucking the sap from the young plants. Now presence of virus was detected both in infected plants and as well as the body of the vector insect, whose RNA was isolated. So both the plant as well as the insect contained the virus in themselves. But the virus was not found in the seeds collected from the infected plant. So what this means is that the virus is specific to phloem, which is the plant tissue that support sugar and organic nutrients from leaves to other plants and is not transmitted by seed or grain. So this implies that the virus only is transmitted to leaves and other parts of the plant, but not the seed or grain. This is told by director of IARI, A.K. Singh. Now IARI team surveyed a total of 24 fields in various areas, and in the fields where disease was recorded, the infected plant varied from 2 to 10%. Now in severely affected fields in Panipat, up to 20% incident was recorded. Now the affected plant showed severely stunted appearance. Severely, they were not growing large, they were seriously stunted, and roots were poorly developed, and also these roots turned brownish. Now the infected tiller can easily be pulled out. And what next? Is that institute carried out investigation to know the mystery dwarfing disease using very independent methods, 3, which is transmission electron microscopy, RT-PCR, and real-time quantitative PCR. So how this works is really very scientific, but you must know that these 3 methods were used. Now in general, the non-basmati varieties were more affected than basmati, and also the paddy that were sown at the later time has less infestation than those who were sown earlier. Now given that the virus is exclusively transmitted by white bagged plant hopper, what this institute has advised farmers is that they must monitor the fields every week for the presence of the insect, and this pest can also be managed by spraying recommended doses of brufrophyzine and acetamiprid, dinotefuran, flonicamid. Insecticides, these are the four at 15-day interval. So this can be solved. Now this is solved. Now I have told you yesterday that if it was not solved, it was a great deal because it can seriously uh, undermine the agriculture productivity of our country, because rice, India is the biggest producer of rice. So now as this problem has been solved and also found, this is very helpful to both our country as well as farmers. Now coming to other news. So this is same gone in 12 seconds. Now coming to explain page, the main heading is given Pakistan's monster monsoon. So climate change is affecting a lot of places. Recently drought from Europe and also from Britain, all of these have shown in the newspaper. Now next comes the Pakistan monster monsoon. So you can say somewhere is drought and somewhere is wet. So this is the calamity of climate change. Now Pakistan this year have seriously seen extremely wet rainy season, and it has caused floods in 150 districts of the country and affecting 33 million people, and it has killed now at least 1000 people. So we will see in very short, because this is not that important for India's perspective. So while Europe, China and some other regions of the world are experiencing a severe drought, Pakistan is facing one of the worst floods in the recent history. So and we will tell you why is the reason. Reason is that an extremely wet monsoon, the current flood is a direct result of an extremely wet monsoon season this year. The same southwest monsoon that brings the bulk of India's annual rainfall causes rain in Pakistan as well. So this same southwest monsoon that causes rainfall in India also causes rainfall in Pakistan. Now this monsoon season in Pakistan, however, this is little shorter than in India. And why it is shorter? Because the rain bearing monsoon winds take time to travel northward from India into Pakistan. Now what is the official time? Official time is that Pakistan monsoon begins on 1st July and it extends until September, although most of the rainfall happens during the month of July and August. So as you know, the India's main time is also June and July, but Pakistan's main time is July and August. So now this active rainfall season is 1.5 months. Normal rainfall in Pakistan is 140 millimeter in 3-month monsoon season. Now this year it is more than that. Pakistan has already received 354.3, which means that more than 3 times the normal of 113.7 millimeter until this time. So you know what catastrophe Pakistan is being facing if it has rainfall of 3 times. Now what is the India's India get 116 millimeter of rainfall every year. So talking about what is the situation in India, the rainfall situation in Pakistan has so far has been quite different from the India so far, though incidents of extreme rainfall and flooding have happened here as well. So you may have heard of Assam flood in like 1 or 2 months before. In August, India has received rainfall that is barely 6% more than the normal, and for the entire season so far the country has received 7% more normal rainfall. And why? What is the reason behind that? This is because India is such a huge country, and overall numbers hide marked variation at a regional and local level. So it is saying that India is a large country, its area is very large. So the overall numbers that come, it hide the marked variation at regional and local levels. So it's saying that somewhere there is too much rain at some region and there is not a single drop in another region, but because of the average of these two, it comes at a little. So overall numbers hide, that means that extreme rainfall and no rainfall, these two things hide. Now just last week Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand experienced torrential rainfall and it triggered landslides and also floods, which is flash floods, and it killed over 30 people. Now in August also, central India comprising mainly Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, they all have received 26% excess rainfall. So normal rainfall is whatever, but this year it has received 26% more rainfall than previous year. Now this is US President power to declassify. I don't think so. This is very important. Now comes the news of full court meeting convened at the discretion of Chief Justice of India. These meetings discuss issues of importance for the judiciary and also look at administrative amendments. So why this news? This news is because India have got its new Chief Justice of India, who is Mr. U.U. Lalit, and immediately after getting his job, he held a full court meeting, and we'll see how this meeting was held and what were the main purposes and what were the discussions also. So soon after taking charge, the new Chief Justice of India, Justice U.U. Lalit, called a meeting of a full court on Saturday where the judges discussed how to deal with the issues relating to listing and backlog of cases. So these two things were important. First is listing and second one is backlog of cases. So backlog of cases is like the extreme number of cases that are piled in the court's desk, and these are like years long, 10 years, 20 years, you can say 5 years. So this is a main issue because justice delayed is justice denied. So he was set to discuss how to deal with this matter and how to solve the cases more efficiently and in more hurry. You can say not in hurry but in more fast manner. The meeting attendees. A full court meeting literally means a meeting that is attended by all the judges of the court. Now there are no written rules about when these meetings are held. As per the convention, full meetings are called by CJI, which is Chief Justice of India, to discuss issues of importance for judiciary. Now there is no specific time period like monsoon session, winter session, all this we have in terms of parliament, that there are fixed time period for meeting of the parliament. But in judiciary, whenever the Chief Justice of India thinks that it is important to discuss some issues for the judiciary, then he calls for such meeting. Now senior designations of advocates in the Supreme Court and High Courts are also decided in full court meetings. So these two are also present. Now what is the significance of this meeting? Now the basic idea is to take everyone along. Full court meetings are an ideal occasion to arrive at solutions to deal with larger problems that besets the country's legal system and also to make changes if necessary in the administrative practices of the court. So significance is that first, arrive at a solution if you have some larger problem, and also make changes if they are necessary in the administrative practices of the court. So these two things. Now past meetings, what were the past meetings and how the decision was. Now full court meetings are convened at the discretion of Chief Justice of India and do not follow any particular calendar. So I told you that these meetings are held with the discretion, with the choice of Chief Justice of India, and has no particular calendar or dates or any particular schedule for meeting. Now, full court meetings have been held many times in the past. In March 2020, it was convened to discuss demands by associations of lawyers to close the court till further notice following the COVID-19 outbreak and its subsequent spread among court staff. So last meeting was about closing the court till notice following the COVID-19 outbreak comes. Okay, so this was about COVID-19 last meeting. Now also a full court meeting held on 1997, and it was decided that every judge should make a declaration of his or her asset in the form of real estate or investment. So last meeting, which was last which was in 1997, it was said that each judge has to show how much property does he owns in the form of real estate, investment or other things, and also in the name of himself or in the name of his spouse or any other person dependent with a reasonable time, and also make a disclosure whenever any acquisition of substantial nature is made. This means that you have to give declaration of your property, your spouse property or any other person who is dependent on you, and also within a reasonable time period, and also make a disclosure whenever there is a need of such a disclosure. The meeting resolved that an in-house procedure should be devised by the Chief Justice of India to take suitable remedial actions against judges who by their acts of omission or commission do not follow the universally accepted values of judicial life, including those indicated in Restatement of Values of Judicial Life that lays down judicial standards and principles to be followed and observed by Supreme Court and High Court judges. So in short, this is about a remedial action must be taken against judges whose actions do not follow values of judicial life, which are indicated in this thing, Restatement of Values of Judicial Life. It's basically saying that Supreme Court and High Court judges should follow basic judicial standard and principles whenever they are performing their task, their action, and giving a decision to the country. Now, if anyone did not give it, the suitable remedial actions must be taken against that High Court or Supreme Court officer. So this was there was also a Mann Ki Baat by Prime Minister Modi. Now he urged people to join campaign against malnutrition. So you know that malnutrition is a deficient of nutrition, not giving sufficient nutrition to an age group of child whose requirement is more than what is being given to him or her. So now this is malnutrition. This is because of India is a largest producer in terms of agriculture, but still there is a lot of malnutrition because the food, you can say, does not reach the poor segment of people. And what the Prime Minister have said about this is that many creative and diverse efforts are being made all over the country against malnutrition. Now, better use of technology and also public participation, both of these, better use of technology as well as public participation, has become an important part of the nutrition campaign. Now, he also mentioned that there was a launch of Poshan Tracker to monitor the accessibility of Anganwadi services, move to provide mobile devices to millions of Anganwadi workers, inclusion of girls aged 14 to 18 under the purview of Poshan Abhiyan in all aspirational districts and northeast states. So now he's talking that the solution to this malnutrition is not limited just to these steps. Also, in this fight against malnutrition, many other initiatives also play an important role. Now he's talking about some initiatives and in terms of examples, that take the Jal Jeevan Mission. This mission is also going to have a huge impact in making India malnutrition free. Now also spoke about Sampoorn project that is being run by Assam's Bongai village. He said that the purpose of this project, this Sampoorn project, is to fight against malnutrition, and the method is very unique. Now what is the method? Under this method, the mother of a healthy child from an Anganwadi center meets the mother of a malnutrition child every week and discusses all nutrition related information. So this is like helping out each other. That is, one mother becomes a friend of another mother, helps her and teaches her. In this region, in 1 year, malnutrition has been eradicated more than 90% of the children. And now observing that 2023 has been declared International Year of Millets. So this is an important thing, that International Year of Millets is declared, and 2023 is the year. Now today around the world, craze for these coarse grains, millets, is rising. For last some time, when any forest guest come to India, when heads of state come to India, it's my endeavor to get dishes made from the millets of India, that is our coarse grain, in the banquets. So he said that when anyone from another country came, he used to serve him dishes made from the millets, and also mentioned the availability of 4G devices in Dwarfing village in Siang district of Arunachal Pradesh, and said that they have these new sunrise in the form of 4G in the remote areas of Arunachal and northeast. Internet connectivity has brought a new dawn. So these were the things that were discussed in Mann Ki Baat. What are the future prospects? I hope people get initiatives, or you can say inspiration, from these examples, and they work towards the progress and towards eradication of this malnutrition, which is very harmful for the kids, the children, the girls, women, boys, men, all of them of our country India. So we will see how this works out. Now coming to the economy page, one news is relevant, which is led by base effect and services pick up Q1 GDP growth seen in double digits. Now most economists keep projection below Reserve Bank's estimate. So which is the Q1 forecast of fiscal year 2023. Now what are the forecasts? First, RBI has projected double-digit growth, which is 16.2%. India Ratings forecasted 13.3%. ICRA has forecasted 13%. State Bank of India 15.7%. DBS Group Research 16%. Barclays 16%. So these is likely good forecast, but we will see in the fiscal year after this Q1. We will see how much is the growth. So these are the forecasts, and all this is not that important. This is only explaining why these have taken this double digit forecast. So this is important, and especially RBI's forecast. We will see after this Q1. Now what PM Modi has said, that Maruti Suzuki's success, symbol of a strong India-Japan partnership. So as you know, Maruti Suzuki Corporation, which is a motor corporation, has invested a lot of foreign direct investment in India, as well as it has its manufacturing units also present in India, and it's also trying to make, you can say, a lithium battery hub also in India. So this will happen in future. This is not yet set up. Now, this is not, you can say this is not that important, only headline was important. Now, financial inclusion, major steps toward inclusive growth. This is told by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. She said that financial inclusion is a major step towards inclusive growth, which ensures the overall economic development of the marginalized sections of the society. This is told by Nirmala Sitharaman. And now, success of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana since 2015 is reflected in terms of opening of over 46 crore bank accounts. So this is about inclusion of rural areas, or you can say semi-urban areas, or women, and it told that it expanded coverage to 67% rural or semi-urban areas, as well as 56% women Jan Dhan account holders. She said on 8th anniversary of flagship financial inclusion scheme. Also, she said that continuation of PMJDY beyond 2018 saw a marked shift in approach to meet challenges and requirements of the emerging fiscal inclusion landscape in the country. She said that after 2018 also there were challenges, but it has been met by emerging financial inclusion landscape in the country. So now she said that there has been a shift in focus from every household to every adult, which added emphasis on uses of accounts by enhancing direct benefit transfer flows through these accounts. So what she said have that once it was a family who gets benefit, like one member of the family will get benefit. Now it is that every adult member of the family will get benefit of direct benefit transfer flows from these accounts, which promotes digital payments also through the use of RuPay cards. So this is statement which was given by her. So what are the future prospects? Inclusive growth is a very important factor that plays its own role in terms of overall growth of the country. So now if every citizen, women, adult, and also if from any section, any caste, any religion, all of them if participate in helping the growth of economy, it will obviously grow in a better manner. So if the economy included all of the people and all of them seriously help in making of our country's economy great, it will seriously be made, and day is not far when we will see that our country is in good economic condition. Also the dream of 2047 that we have envisioned in our mind, you can say, of having a developed country as India, having a developed country will not be so far if everyone will help economy in growing with its more efficiency. Now coming to world news, US warships sailed through Taiwan Strait in first since Pelosi's visit. Beijing wary. So Speaker, why this news? Because Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan in like 2nd of August or 3rd maybe, and what happened is like Beijing started its military drills over Taiwan Strait, near Taiwan Strait, and then at about 16th or 18th of August, Taiwan also started its military drills. And now what is happening is that US warship is now sailing through the Taiwan Strait, and now Beijing is wary. So US Navy sailed, I will explain you in this in fast because this is not that important. What will happen in the future, whether this war will escalate or not, this is more important. So now US Navy sailed 2 warships through the Taiwan Strait on Sunday, first such transit publicized since US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan earlier in August, at a time when tensions have kept the waterway particularly busy. Now USS Antietam and USS Chancellor Ville are conducting a routine transit, and the US 7th fleet tells. The cruiser transited through the corridor in the strait that is beyond the territorial sea of any coastal state. So it operated neither in China's coastal state nor in Taiwan. It sailed in none of them. It was far away from there. Now, what this operation demonstrates is that the US commitment to free and open Indo-Pacific. What US is saying that no one owns really the Indo-Pacific region. It is free and open, and the US military flies, sails, and operates anywhere international laws allows. The US Navy added. So it's saying that it is in the line of the international law. It is not violating this, and it will operate anywhere international law allows. The Chinese military said that it was following the ships and warning them. What it said that US ship was following the ships and warning them. China conducted many military exercises in the strait as it sought to punish Taiwan after Pelosi visited the self-ruled island against Beijing threat. So Beijing has given threats to Taiwan, US, as well as Nancy Pelosi also. It has sanctioned Nancy Pelosi and also her family members too. Now what is happening here is that the region of the Pacific is very busy. Taiwan's ships, warships, and its military drill are performing there. China is also doing all that since the beginning. Now US is also there. It's a great mix of all these ships, and we are just in a brink of emerging a new war in the Taiwan Strait. Median line breached. So what is this median line? Median line is an, you can call, imaginary line in the water area between China and Taiwan. So one side is China, which is a very big country, and second is Taiwan, which is a small island. Now in between there is like a row, or you can say a water channel that goes through there, and in between that water there is a median line. So now what Taiwan is saying that 23 Chinese aircraft and 8 Chinese ships operating around Taiwan as Beijing continues in military activities near the island. So this was breached. Now coming to next news. Ukraine nuke plant shelled again as US slams Moscow for ignoring risk. So why this is the news? Because there is a Zaporizhzhia plant which is in Europe. This is the biggest nuclear plant in Europe. Now it is in, you can say, in a very dangerous state because Russia has invaded and it takes to control of this nuclear plant, and the operators, the workers there are Ukrainian. Now what Russia is doing, that Russia is having its military there, and it is also leaving missiles from this nuclear plant, and it is attacking from here to the Ukraine. Now what Ukraine was supposed to do, Ukraine was supposed to not re-attack the Moscow in this region because it is a nuclear plant, and if Ukraine re-attacks from its area to that nuclear plant, it will seriously lead to a catastrophe. But reports have founded that Ukraine also have fired across this nuclear plants. Now there is a reports of shelling around the plants fueled of fears of radiation disaster. So now what US State of Department has said, I will also tell you one more thing, that International Atomic Energy Agency is also trying to get control of this nuclear plant, and it wants to demilitarize this nuclear plant. So all the military gone from this nuclear plant, and it's free from any military bases. What now US State Department has said is that Moscow did not want to acknowledge the grave radiological risk at the Zaporizhzhia plant and has blocked a draft agreement on nuclear non-proliferation because it mentioned such risk. Also, regional governor has said that Russia is stuck home in the region's main city of Zaporizhia, about a 2-hour drive from the plant. So residents were being taught of how to use iodine in case of radiation leak. So world is at, you can say, at a great risk of this nuclear catastrophe, and if it occurs, whole humanity will suffer. We seriously hope that this does not occur. Both Ukraine and Russia uh, get their mutual, you can say, conscience in not shelling this nuclear plant again and not making this region a military region, because anywhere else it was fine but not the nuclear plant, because it can seriously harm the whole humanity. And it estimated, I told you yesterday also, that at least 5 billion people will be dead if this catastrophe occurs, if it nuclear radiations will emerge from this nuclear plant. And the whole population of the world is 7 billion, so 65% of the world will be dead, and we will be leaded back to the Stone Age. All the innovations, all the, you can say, scientific progress as well as cultural progress will be all vanished. So we hope that this does not occur. We will be tracking, because this news is coming every single day, and we will be tracking this news. So now there is also a news, Pakistan allowing US drone to use country's airspace. So there was a killing of Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri, and it was being, you can say, it was a suspicion that whether Pakistani authorities have helped or not, but Pakistani authority denied involvement in advanced knowledge of a drone strike that US carried out in Kabul. Now what Taliban minister is saying, that the Taliban have said that Pakistan had allowed American drones to use its airspace to access Afghanistan, and this is a charge Pakistan has recently denied following the US airstrike in Kabul. So Pakistan has denied that it has not given any airspace to US. But in the speech of US President Joe Biden has said that with the help of the allies, it have killed Ayman al-Zawahiri. So who were these allies? This was a major question, but it was a suspicion that Pakistan is there, but Pakistan denied. Now Afghanistan is accusing that no, Pakistan have let the US use their airspace. We ask Pakistan, don't use your airspace against us. So what these comments can lead to, these are comments from Afghanistan, and these comments could exacerbate tensions between the two countries at the time when Afghan Taliban is mediating talks between Pakistan and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So for starters, I will tell you that Tehreek-e-Taliban, the spelling is wrong written, this is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. It is the main, you can say, bone of contention between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So this Tehreek-e-Taliban is the main enemy of Pakistan, and Afghanistan is the place where these terrorist groups live. So what Afghanistan is doing is that it is trying to mediate talks between Pakistan and this terrorist group. Now this type of comment from Afghanistan can seriously lead to no solution, because if two countries want peace, they must have their all files in one desk, and they will come forward for solving this issue. But accusing each other will not simply work. So we'll see how Pakistan will respond to it, because Pakistan has already denied, but now Taliban have accused them. So this is a news that we will track in future. Now this comes an end to our news. So today's newspaper was also very important. It consists of political news as well as, but front page was not that important because it consists of no new news. Also this international news and this nuclear and economy, all of that was important. You can read this newspaper as well.